We're taking things back to basics with our beginner swim series. Having already looked at water confidence and your arm pull, it's time to add in the kick. Now, the kick may do significantly less work in the front crawl than the arms, but it can have a significant impact on your swim stroke. So, let's make sure you're kicking effectively. If you haven't seen the first two videos in this beginner swim series, I would suggest starting there, as they're kind of like building blocks that build on each other. By now, you should be feeling pretty confident in the water, and you should have a pretty good understanding of how you can use your arms to propel yourself forward through the water doing a basic front crawl stroke. Now it's time to bring in the leg kick. And before we go any further, if you are enjoying this beginner swim series, remember to hit the thumbs up button to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the rest of the series. Just like we did with the arms and hands, feeling the resistance of the water, we're going to try a similar thing with the feet and legs to start with. Although the kick movement is very different to the arm movement, you are still using the viscosity of the water to help propel your body through the water. Standing on one leg, move your other leg forwards and backwards through the water as if you were kicking a football. But instead of your foot being tense, let it go floppy and let the water flex and extend your foot. Keeping that movement in your head, sit on the edge of the pool, lean back with your legs out in front of you, and try to replicate that movement in the water. Try to think of the movement coming from your hips with only a small bend in your knees and your ankles and feet as relaxed and floppy as possible. From this position, you're going to kick your ankles and lower legs down into the water before kicking up towards the surface, which will make a small splash, but it should be a fairly small movement. This is exactly the same movement you're going to be doing when doing your kick in front crawl, except of course you'll be kicking downwards because your body will be the other way up. For this next step, you'll need a pool that has water at deck level or a gutter or bar or something to hold on to that is at water level. Stand facing the wall and kick your legs up behind you and place your face in the water so your body is as close to horizontal with the surface as possible. If you need, you can start with a pool noodle under your hips to get the position, but you will need to try without it. Begin the kicking motion you've practiced, making sure to keep the movement small and fast. I want you to think about keeping your legs long, close together, floppy ankles, kicking from the hip with relaxed, soft knees. Start by doing this for just a few seconds at a time to get a feel for it. These last few progressions are suggestions for you to try, and you can practice them on your own, but it does help to have someone on pool deck looking over your swim stroke so you can see whether you're doing it correctly and get that confidence. If this next one doesn't work well for you or you don't like it, you can just move straight on to the next one. Some people like to practice their kick on their back. Much like sitting on the pool side, you're going to be kicking up. Now you can put a pool noodle under your torso or even under your hips to help get that body position right to start with. Just remember to lean your head all the way back and look at the ceiling, because it's tempting to look down at your feet and this will immediately cause your hips to sink. Push off the wall, find your body position and start with a small flutter kick. The smaller you can keep it, the less time for your legs to start to drop. Think of kicking down with your feet and bringing your leg back up to the surface with your hip and your glutes. There should be a small amount of splash, but your feet should only just break the surface. If it's not working with kicking on your back or you've mastered it already, you can move on to kicking with a kickboard. Place your arms over the kickboard with your hands on the front. And now is a good time to pull out those goggles, because putting your face in the water, at least to start with, will help to prevent your hips sinking and allow you to kick a little bit better. When you start, keep each effort short and stop before your legs get too tired. Once you do get too tired and your legs start to sink, it's hard to correct it. So it's better to stop before you get to the point that your legs start to sink. Now that you've got the hang of the kick and kicking on your front, you can try adding in some fins. Now you may ask, why only now? Why only at this point we're adding fins? And the reason is that you want to get the feel for kicking without fins first. Fins are going to accentuate and help certain parts of your kick so that you can feel what's right, but you don't want to become too reliant on them. Make sure they are swim-specific fins, short ones like this that can accentuate your kick and you can do short, fast kicking with it, not those long diving ones. Fins will help you to flex your ankle and get a feeling for getting the power out of your feet. You can also kick on your back and get a feel for that, or even on your side using the fins. But I am going to reiterate though, don't become too reliant on your fins. You need to always go back to kicking without fins at the end of your session so that you get a feel for kicking without fins. And that's it for the kick. That's all we have to teach you on the kick. So now you can practice putting it all together. You know how to get your body position, how to use your arms for the pull, and now how to kick. Put it all together into a stroke. Don't worry too much about the timing just yet. That'll come later on. But go out there and practice what you've learned so far. I hope you're enjoying the beginner swim series so far. Make sure you've nailed all the steps we've taught you thus far before you move on to the next one in our beginner swim series.